to you about something called resilience. Why do some people thrive in situations that others simply cannot tolerate? Every good experience in life, no matter how enjoyable, no matter how good you are at that job, will ultimately come to an end. Suddenly, there's conflict, right? There's an ending to something that you assumed to be true. It brings about feelings of discomfort. It brings about feelings of insecurities. You've got to be able to deal with ambiguity, which means you don't have all the answers and you can't see the full picture. So one bit of advice that I give you to develop your resiliency is to learn to be comfortable in discomfort. When you face difficulties in life, what is your knee-jerk response? It's your belief system that you could not succeed that is preventing you from successfully completing the semester, right? And it's not the event that determines our destiny, quite frankly, but it's the belief we have around the event. Sometimes those things which appear on the surface to be imperfect are indeed the biggest blessings that we will receive. So something that originally seems like a curse can ultimately become a blessing. The year 2012 was a difficult one for me. The year started out with my husband and I receiving a phone call from one of our best friends back in Delaware, where we hail from, indicating that our son Kyle had experienced cardiac arrest at the tender age of 22. So we were absolutely shocked to find that not only had he experienced cardiac arrest, but he had literally died. He had what was called sudden death syndrome. Life happens when you least expect it. Now, until that point, Kyle was a college athlete, perfect shape, clean kid, no drugs. We weren't sure what state he would be in. Now, here's the good news. Not only did he come back to life, he was in a coma when we arrived, came out of the coma. He was restored to full health. He returned to school, completed his degree that semester. Sometimes, in fact, often, we are not prepared for life's upsets. By the end of the year, I was literally and figuratively exhausted and wasn't sure that I'd be able to go on. You will discover that you've got power. You've got power that you didn't even know existed within you. There will always be something that we fear. And a bit of fear, quite frankly, is healthy. But if you don't face your fear, what's going to happen? That thing that you fear the most is still going to be there anyway. You put on your big girl panties, or pants, gentlemen, and you face that thing which causes you so much trepidation. If you build the skills to become resilient, you will possess qualities that will last you a lifetime.
She was very poised, very collected. There's more to communication than just talking.
I kind of have new techniques and new methods to become more resilient in between situations when life gets hard.
It was actually very thought-provoking. It brought a lot out that I hadn't realized I didn't know.
I know people always have it hard, but there's always ways where it can get better with resilience.